Alright, so this is a long time coming. However, I'm finally ready to show off my collection of horror movies and horror movie memorabilia. On top of that, I have a handful of Godzilla collectibles, and I've been really wanting to share this. Whenever you see this video, I'm making this in the midst of the whole COVID pandemic, and I've been home a lot, and I've just been really thinking about like stuff to do. And of course, I've had this huge collection of horror movie stuff for almost a good chunk of my life. So I decided today would be a good day to maybe possibly show it off on YouTube and Instagram, and just to show what I've been collecting and what my hobby has been for the past, well, maybe 5, 6, 7 years of my life. So we'll divide up this video into a couple different sections. First, it's going to be very quick. We're going to very briefly breeze over all the stuff I have. And we're going to start with the DVDs that I have, move on to collectibles, and if there's anything in particular that I really want to go deeper in depth into, I'll make a whole separate video about. But to start, this is my collection of horror films that I've been collecting for many years. Some of them aren't exactly horror films. Like, I have almost 2 shelves or 2 cubby spaces dedicated to Godzilla, King Kong. To start, everything's in alphabetical order. As you can see, you have, starting with the numbers, you have 28 Days Later. You have all the Alien movies up to AVP at least. You have Bad Taste, one of Peter Jackson. I think it's Peter Jackson's first film. Candyman. Every Children of the Corn. There might be some newer ones out that I don't know about. Every single Chucky film I have here, up to Cult. Along with The Creature of the Black Lagoon over here, I have all the Universal Monster collections, the Legacy collections. I believe that's what they're called. We have all the Of the Dead films, Dawn, Day, Night of the Living Dead. We have a handful of Dracula movies, not all of them, of course. Up top, I keep these sort of random collections that can't really be put anywhere alphabetically in the collection. You have Evil Dead 1, 2, Army of Darkness, Evil Dead Remake, and Season 1 of the show, which I did not collect fully. Obviously, I only have the first season, but they're all on Netflix currently, so I just recently rewatched that. Of course, you got The Exorcist, both versions of The Fly, the one with Vincent Price, and the one with Jeff Goldblum, sorry, by David Cronenberg. Frankenstein Legacy Collection, every single Friday the 13th. This is a DVD set of the first 8 movies. And then, not part of that collection, is parts 9 and 10, Freddy vs. Jason, which is actually in this collection for some reason. And Friday the 13th, 09. Now, here's a very big chunk of the collection, is all the giant monster films, in particular Godzilla. We have this Godzilla collection, which only contains a small chunk of the, 32, 31 films that have been released over the years. But regardless, I have every single Godzilla movie there's ever been. These Blu-ray sets are from the 90s, or from the 90 series, the Heisei series. I'm using their alternate covers because they're a lot cooler. Poor King Kong is broken here. Then we have the Toho collection, which has Mothra. I don't even remember what else it has on it. It has Mothra, the H-Man, Battle in Outer Space. Not sure about any of that. Godzilla Toho collection, which is just a handful of 90s films, and I think some of the 2000s. You have the Matthew Broderick Godzilla 2014, a Blu-ray of 2014, Skull Island, Shin Godzilla, and then that promptly ends my Godzilla collection for now. I do own King of the Monsters on digital, but I do plan to eventually get it on physical at some point. But coming back down, gotta move my hell razor boxes. We have every Halloween that's ever been made, in multiple different collections and whatnot. Most recently, I got these from a friend for Christmas, I believe, for my birthday. It's every film up to the Rob Zombie ones on Blu-ray, so I definitely need to give those a watch. We have every Hatchet film, as you can see, I have the Blu-ray there. Every Hellraiser film before the most recent one. The last one I have is Hellworld. We have the Rob Zombie trilogy of, I guess you could call it the Reject trilogy. We have House of a Thousand Corpses, The Devil's Rejects, and most recently, Three from Hell. We have the original It from 1990 and the 2017 It. Yeah, 2017. I believe I've rented It Chapter 2. I don't think I own it digitally. Jaws. Can't not mention Jaws. Jeepers Creepers, and here are not all, but a good chunk of the Japanese Grudge films. Ju-on the Grudge. The original is definitely something worth watching. These sequels, I did marathon at some point. I don't recall much about them. I do recall it focusing a lot more heavily on the boy rather than the Kayako, the mother, Toshio. So that's interesting. You have Killer Clowns from Outer Space with this awful cover. I prefer the high saturated cover that you're used to seeing. I do not own every King Kong, unfortunately. I have King Kong, Son of Kong, Mighty Joe Young, and this one big collection, which I think was gifted to me. Then we have the Peter Jackson Kong. I'm missing the Kong from the 70s with Jessica Lange, but I do have King Kong Escapes. And, oh, I'm sorry, this is the original King Kong. This is the Peter Jackson King Kong. You have every Leprechaun film besides Origins. You have both Little Shop of Horrors, Maniac Cop, which is a very underrated trilogy, Misery, Monster Squad, more the classic Universal Monster Legacy Collection. Nightmare Before Christmas, and immediately after that we have Nightmare on Elm Street, every single one. Even this, 4-hour documentary that I've watched 2 or 3 too many times. We have the original Nosferatu, silent film. Every single Omen film up to the remake. I don't believe there was any more after that. We have the first Phantasm. I'm trying to collect the Phantasm films, but to tell you the truth, I'm really not a huge fan of the first Phantasm. It's a little too hard to grasp for me. Then we have Phantom of the Opera from 25. Phantom of the Opera with Claude Rains from, I forget the year, but this is the Universal Monsters version of the Phantom. Then we have the modern Phantom of the Opera, which, don't judge me, I've not yet seen. We have every Poltergeist, every Predator, except for The Predator, every Psycho film, no Bates Motel, so sorry about that. Coming down here, we have the Ring movies. Let me just move these back up. So we have the original Ringu from Japan, Ringu 2. I do not have any of the other Japanese Ring films. I plan to maybe eventually get them. But then we have the American versions of The Ring and Ring 2. We have Rocky Horror Picture Show, Rosemary's Baby, every Saw film before Jigsaw, Scream 1 to 4. I don't own many Silence of the Lamb films, as you can see. I own Silence of the Lambs and Hannibal. Some other notable ones. You have The Sixth Sense, Shaun of the Dead. The Shining, of course, I can't not mention. Sleepy Hollows, I think, is an awesome movie. What else do we have? Stephen King collection. Another film that I completely dislike. My cousin gave this to me. I hate The Strangers. We have we do have every single Texas Chainsaw Massacre up to the most recent one. Actually, no, I don't own Leatherface because that movie was completely awful, and I would be disgusted to own it in my collection. So we have up until Texas Chainsaw 3D, but in my eyes, I have every single Texas Chainsaw. Theater of Blood, more Vincent Price. Every version of The Thing. I've yet to watch the most recent one because, let's admit it, I believe 81, the John Carpenter version is a lot, is the best. We have The Toxic Avenger. Is it every film? Signed by Lloyd Kaufman. It's the complete series of the Toxic Crusaders. The Toxic Avenger, and I believe this is every film, all 4 movies, I believe. These films are fun, but if you've seen them, you know what I mean, so let's just put it back. Not horror, but I have the Ninja Turtle trilogy and the 07 film. So that basically wraps it for my horror movie collection. So you've probably noticed at the top of the shelving are a handful of my different figurines and collectibles. I have a handful of Movie Maniacs, NECA's original released, Jason for Part 7. This Predator figure was custom made. I got it on an island when I went on a cruise. I couldn't tell you which island it was, but someone was making these alien and predator statues out of, I think, like some sort of coral. This piece is extremely rare now, the Michelin Loomis set from NECA. I got this used off eBay probably 6 or 7 years ago. It didn't come with the leaf accessories, but that's alright. It was a good price, reasonable for this set. I believe I got it for $80, which sounds like a lot, but compared to what they're going for now, it's ridiculous. Cassie Hack from Hack and Slash, or Hack Slash, however you pronounce it. The Mezco, Chucky and Tiffany. These are not life-size, unfortunately, but I mean, they're a little over a foot tall, I believe, so they're nice, hefty collectibles. As you can see, I really do enjoy Chucky, so I have plenty of different Chucky memorabilia. My friend Adam made that for me. It's the Part 4, or actually no, it's the NES logo for Friday the 13th, the game. This painting I bought at some convention. Obviously, it's Edgar Allan Poe. These are various NECA Freddy Kruegers. I sold a lot of figures a few years back, so I had all of the NECA Freddy Kruegers, but I decided to get rid of them to make room for new figures. So those are the 3 that remained. This set's also very rare, the Jason and Pamela set. Some of the weapons I don't have displayed right now. They're in a little box among other figures' weapons. But this is an awesome set. It comes with the table where Jason kept his mom's head. The Predator figures, these guys were interesting to get. The City Hunter and Berserker figures, those are the 2 to the left I got at a pack. It was like a Toys R Us exclusive. The Jungle Predator to the right from the original film. And then this bigger figure in the back, I believe, is from Alien vs. Predator. They're all NECA branded, of course. Before we get to this amazing piece back here, that is just Diamond Select's statue or bank of Cthulhu. Keeping with Lovecraft theme, I decided to put my Reanimator syringe here, which is signed by Jeffrey Combs himself in the back. So that's an awesome piece to have. Like I said, a lot of these figures were figures that I couldn't sell as far as these open out-of-box figures go, but I have NECA Cult Classic, Hannibal Lecter, Movie Maniacs, Norman Bates, NECA Left 4 Dead figures, which I was so excited that they were creating, and they didn't go any further than these 2 because I think they did not sell at all. Diamond Select, Wolfman, and the Silent Screamers Nosferatu. Both are very cool, interesting figures. Moving down, I have this puzzle box that's 3D printed. I bought at Monster Mania, signed by Ashley Lawrence, who plays Kirsty in the series. This guy I got at Comic-Con. It's Pazuzu from The Exorcist. So I got these stuffed guys from the boardwalk. That's Jason, Freddy, and Sam from Trick or Treat. These guys are definitely awesome pieces. These are NECA branded, so you know that they're good. Quarter scale figurines. So they're, I believe, they're not a foot tall. They're over a foot tall. But it's Freddy from Part 3. He has these swappable pieces if you so wish to pose him like that. Then you have Michael from the newer movie. I got him half off, which is incredible, so I only paid like $60, $70 for him. Then we'll move over to these NECA Ultimate sets, which I will not be individually looking at today. However, these guys are great because they come in these awesome boxes that have these window flaps, these little windows on them that you can, I'll use Part 3 for example. You can open up and look at. So if you don't wish to display him out of box, you can display him pretty nicely without having to open him. The Ultimate figures are definitely my current main collectible right now. They go out of, not that they go out of print very quickly, but they definitely go up for resale very quickly, and their price goes up quite a bit. So I try my best to keep up with them, but I usually will slack sometimes. So we have the NES Jason from Part 2, Jason from Part 3, Jason from Part 4, the Dream version of Jason and Tommy Jarvis's Dream from Part 5, Roy Burns, the copycat from Part 5, Part 6 Jason, Jason from Freddy vs. Jason, 09 Jason, and then we're probably not getting any more Jasons for a long time with the whole court battle going on, which is unfortunate that we had to stop so sudden, because there was only just, I believe, 3 more movies before we had a full set of Jasons up here. But to fill that void, we have Halloween 2, Michael Myers from the original Halloween 2 from, I believe, 81, and then the 2018 Halloween movie. We have Leatherface, which needs more love. He needs a lot more figurines than just this one. And then we come down here, we have Pennywise from the 1990 film. There's a bunch of Pennywises from the new movie that NECA's released. It's ridiculous, but this is the standard GameStop exclusive version that I picked up, so that's a good one to have. I do plan on picking up the version from the second film, however. Then we have Ash vs. Evil Dead, Ash, Part 2 of A Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy Krueger, Chucky, which has a large amount of accessories, including the Good Guy doll box in the background, if you can see it, along with a bunch of weapons that he's used throughout all the movies, and a bunch of different heads. So you have the head from 3, that's the one at the top middle where he gets his face chopped off. The head he has on now and the one to the left they're both from the first movie. And then that head on the right is from Curse. You can easily tell by the hair and face. Then we have the Bride set, which obviously includes Tiffany. Another amazing set with Chucky, and he's specifically based off Bride, so it's nice to have this set to sort of complete that set of Chuckies. Also interesting enough that we got all the Chuckies in one set and then this additional one, as opposed to getting, 8, 9 of them. Then we have Amok. These are the Amok Time figures. Killer Clowns from Outer Space, which is signed by the Chiodo brothers who created Killer Clowns. Elvira. We have the Tar Man from Return of the Living Dead, and Bub from Day of the Living Dead. that pretty much wraps it up as far as horror goes. However, I have plenty of Godzilla merchandise I can show off. So here is SH Monster Arts 1954 Godzilla, so the original. We move on to the left, we have the 90s version. This one I think is specifically based off versus Space Godzilla. We have an unused design for the 2000s film with the more standard gray color palette as opposed to the green and purple that's in the film. We have the 2001, I believe 2001. This is the GMK version, Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah. Then we have the 2014 Godzilla figure, and then Shin Godzilla. Godzilla vs. Mothra, Mothra from the 90s version of Godzilla vs. Mothra, as well as the larva. We have Fire Rodan from vs. Mecha Godzilla, as well as Super Mecha Godzilla. This version of Godzilla, which is based off the poster for vs. Space Godzilla, who's over here on the left. And then coming down, we have Biollante, which is one of my favorite figurines because she's massive compared to everything else in my collection. We have Mogera from Space Godzilla, King Ghidorah from vs. King Ghidorah. We also have Godzilla Jr. from Destroyer, or versus Destroyer rather. Burning Godzilla from vs. Destroyer, and Destroyer herself. So that wraps it up for figurines for the most part. However, I do have a bunch of posters that are signed by different horror actors that I've been getting at Monster Mania for many years, which I can do in a separate video, but those are just a little hint of what I have. So that pretty much wraps up everything I have. I do have a few more things in my sort of hangout gaming room that I'll show in another video. And among the things I've shown here today, I'll definitely be trying to go more in depth into as the months come. So that was my first video. Hope you all enjoyed.